I'm Shae Lillywhite and I'm a member of the Australian women's baseball team. I started playing baseball when I was 10 years old with my older brother after trying T-ball at primary school. I loved any ball sports and baseball was just something different that not many people were playing in Australia. But once I saw I could compete and I travelled to America when I was 13, I fell in love with baseball. Some difficulties I've faced with baseball is, I think, like most women's sports and low-profile sports, the lack of funding from the associations and government sources. Baseball isn't a well-known sport in Australia, and we've had to do a lot of it ourselves to fund the travel, uniform, gym memberships, tournaments, and in more recent years we're starting to get that little bit more momentum and have a lot more funding coming our way, which has helped immensely with us trying to juggle full-time work and being away for preparation and games. It can be quite expensive. And another thing is just juggling work and sport. So I am a myotherapist in Australia, and I've been lucky with my job to be flexible and running my own business and everything, but trainings and being away for long periods of time can be very challenging to have a life balance. But I think the absolute biggest difficulty as an athlete is injuries. They play a massive role in performance and confidence to an athlete, and I've had my fair share over the years, but I've learnt to listen to my body, communicate with my coaches and myself, and I've learnt to do the work outside of team trainings and sessions and navigate, especially like as I've gotten older, to get ready for tournaments and gameplay to sustain peak performance. These kinds of things for me taught me how to be organised, built my character, create routines and stay on top of my home life and sporting career. I've learned that I need to reach out for help when I need it from the people around me, especially my family and my parents, who have been a huge support to me and allowing me to head off anywhere for sport whenever I needed and not to worry about what was happening at home. Leading into my most memorable experience, it's very hard to choose one. I've been a part of the Australian team since I was 16, and I'm now 36, so to choose one of those moments is a little bit difficult, but one being when I was playing for Australia, we went to the World Cup in Venezuela in 2010, and some unexpected events were occurring, and we had to decide whether we were going to stay, and the tournament wasn't sure if it was going to go ahead. So we moved locations, resumed games, and at that time we had lost an important game, but we ended up coming together and beating Japan to advance ourselves in the rounds. And we ended up beating Venezuela in front of a huge crowd and noise, and I've never experienced anything like it, and we beat the host country and we made it to the gold medal game, and that experience for me was an incredibly overwhelming experience, and to just hear the support and passion that the country has for particularly women playing baseball was just amazing. The other experience I'll talk about is when that I think probably changed my life, is when I went and played in the Japanese Women's Professional League in 2013. I was the first international player to play in the professional league, and I travelled to Japan previously, a number of years prior to playing in club teams and at a school, and I got the opportunity to play in the pro league, and I was very keen to be involved. So there's always a couple of things that pop up when you're mixing cultures, and I knew Japan was going to be very challenging for me, and it absolutely was. I played for a team called South Dione, and I got there just before the season started and was quickly taught to be a left fielder when I was an infielder and hitting in the 4-hole, and as a DH, which I hadn't had much experience doing previously, so I was completely out of my comfort zone, and with limited English available at the time, I remember my first game and my last game, and everything in the middle was just tough. So I remember how much I had to adapt to that environment, and how far I had come in baseball mentally and physically. So it was a huge learning curve in my life to be able to fall back on when things get challenging, that I went over there and I experienced, the best players in the world, and what they do and what an everyday life playing professionally was like. So that experience for me was amazing, for not only my playing career but for my personal career too. So my goal in life, I guess, has always been to be the best I could, and not give up on my goals, to try and balance my life around my sporting career. And as I know that you just can't get the same excitement out of life as you do through sport, and having those amazing challenges to work for and to work at. So competing at the top level in my life has been one of the greatest pleasures. So I've always tried to be grateful and appreciative for my opportunities in baseball, and just try to get better at anything I do. Advice I would give to other athletes is to not waste time on things or with people who don't drive you to improve on your abilities. Wanting success and wanting to get better are all important, but seeking support and doing the work and taking the chances and advice from the people that care and want the best for you, it's something to be very, honourable, to just keep working really hard at your passions and goals. So it will be uncomfortable at times, but putting yourself out there and being the hardest working player will serve you well going forward in anything you choose to do. One thing I'd like to share would be about me being involved in the national team since the first ever one in 2001. I'm sure most of you weren't born, and we had a baseball World Series at the time, and being the age of 16, I was the youngest at that point, to now being in my 30s, and at an age where I'm probably one of the more senior and veteran players. I'm very excited about the future of women's baseball, and to see more countries involved, and the athletes now are amazingly talented, and the structure and support of the tournaments are all improving. But most importantly, I want to touch on that the best things are the friendships that I've made through baseball, not only at my club team here in Australia, but my state and my country, but internationally. And to be able to share that common passion and love of the game has been something that, carries on. And I know when I finish playing that that's what I'm left with, my experiences with my friends, and some of the best players in the world playing this great game. So it is an absolute true gift that baseball has given me, and has taught me some of my greatest lessons. So I encourage everyone to have a go, and be your best and try your hardest, and don't give up on them. But make sure you give it your all. All right, thank you. Bye.